the Elven Star Podcast. And now, your host, Kevin Ferry.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ferry. Welcome to the Elven Star Podcast. Today we have Wendy Dobrindt from Dog Star Rescue, Connecticut's most epic, fantastic dog rescue. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me.
Yeah, awesome. So, Dog Star Rescue, I was Googling, using the Google machine before this show, and it came up as Connecticut's largest rescue.
We are indeed Connecticut's largest all-volunteer rescue and adopted the most dogs out. We're on target to adopt out close to 800 this year, which is amazing.
Wow. All right, so we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what the organization is all about, what exactly they do, how people can volunteer to help, because I understand it's an all-volunteer run organization.
It is.
And but I want to start a little bit by just finding out a little bit about you and how you got involved with Dog Star.
Okay, so I have been with the rescue about 9 years. I was actually on a business trip with our former president, and we were in a bar drinking beer, which is a common dog rescue theme. And he was texting somebody on his phone, and it turned out it was a mutual friend. I'm like, what are you texting her for? And he's like, how do you know her? And we exchanged information on that and started talking. And I got back to my hotel room and started to do some research on the rescue and realized that everything he had said was true. And then I did a sizable donation. And then the next day he's like, wow, I didn't really think you were serious. And I said, well, I was. And then that's how the rest is history, so to speak. So I started out as a volunteer. Just everybody, you can come in and volunteer and handle dogs. We'll get into that later. Then I got involved in the marketing committee, and then I got involved in fundraising, left fundraising and took over just adoption events. And now I'm back in charge of all of fundraising, all of events, and all of our transport. So I've got a lot of hats on, and yes, I do work a full-time job as well that pays me because this is all volunteer time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So, you must be a little nuts. That sounds like a big commitment.
It is a big commitment, but it's a commitment that you can put in as much as you want, but you get out of it what you put into it. And we do consider it a family of volunteers. Being with the rescue for 9 years, you go through a lot. You go through a lot of life-changing experiences, and they were family to me when I went through a lot of those. So one of my dogs came from them. My second dog, after my sweet Roddy passed away, is Fred. He's with me. He was adopted through the rescue as well. So and the friends I've made and connections and stuff that's how I met you and Leslie.
Yeah, awesome. And Fred, I've met Fred. I think you were kind of handling Fred at an adoption event in Mystic. Is that right?
Yes, I was. So I had lost 2 dogs in 8 weeks. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And Fred came up, and he was deemed to be a doodle. And I had said, I'll foster him, but I don't know if I'm ready to adopt yet. So he came home with me on Saturday. We had an event in Mystic on Sunday, and I'm like, oh shoot, I've got to bring him. So I bought him and wouldn't let anybody near him, like anybody, because he was a doodle. Rescues don't get doodles very often. And about that time, I was like, yeah, he's here just because I didn't want to leave him home alone, but he isn't leaving my house. So about a week later, after he had met my 2.5-year-old great nephew and the rest of my family and some of the other family dogs, I said, yeah, he's staying with me. And he's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's by having him meet the family, you're kind of making sure that he's going to jive with everybody. He's friendly with everybody, right?
You do. So when people adopt from us, we do say, bring all your family members or anybody that's going to kind of be with you a lot, because if the family dogs don't get along, well, that puts a damper on family celebrations, which are hard enough as it is. Now you have 2 dogs that don't get along. So that all worked out. And, my nephew being 2.5, he has a Jack Russell Terrier. So he's dog savvy already, but Fred is a 63-pound dog, so he's a tiny pony. So that all worked out. So it's important, that the chemistry worked for everybody.
Yeah. So I'm sorry you lost your 2 dogs in rapid succession there.
That was crazy. Yeah,
and
awful.
You lasted for how long until you adopted Fred?
I lasted a week of complete silence in my house, and I work from home 100%. So it was nuts because, when you work at home, you have to get out of the house a little bit. So having a dog makes you have to walk it. And I think like 3 days went by, and I said to my boss, I haven't even gone outside. Like, there's no reason to. So I said, I need to do something about this. And fostering was an option. And then fostering is a great option until you realize, like, I love this dog after 24 hours. And it's, he was great.
Yeah.
Jumped on my bed and just great. So.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest lies that dog owners tell themselves when they lose their dog and they're crushed, I got to wait. I got to gather myself. I'm going to take a little time until I get the next dog. So I remember when we lost Sita, and I'm going to show everyone Sita. Sita's a dog star. This is Sita.
Yeah, I've met Sita.
Yeah, and when we lost Sita, Leslie and I said, we're going to wait quite a while and just kind of figure out what we want to do, what kind of dog we want to get. And you and a couple others at Dog Star called Leslie and I when we were out camping and said, we have your dog. You have to come to the rescue and get your dog. So on the way home from our camping trip, we stopped. You guys happened to be at the brewery. Once again, a lot of beer going on at the Dog Star Rescue. And we left with Ghost. So this is Ghost.
Yep.
And Ghost is 100% different, 180 degrees like in a different direction than Sita, but super friendly. And we're actually training him up to be a service dog because he just loves everybody. He still gets a little squirrely around kids that are herky-jerky and move really fast.
Yeah. So do we all as
people.
Right?
Yeah, like who are those little monsters? Like, and what are they doing? But he loves everybody, and we're so glad that we took your advice. Because you guys, at that point, whatever, you had rescued 6,000 dogs instead of where you're at now, which is like 8 or something.
Just under 8, yes.
Yeah, but anyway, after that amount of experience, I figured you guys must know this is a really good dog. So we just like totally trusted you. And when we took him home, we said, holy cow, what did we do? This is like totally different than Sita. This isn't the type of dog we had imagined. But, it took about 2 weeks, and then we're like absolutely in love with this guy. It's amazing.
Well, they say it's so 2 weeks is a good metric, but they say dog that you rescue, you do 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. So in 3 days, the dog is getting comfortable and it's like, I might be here to stay. In 3 weeks, now they're like, I'm really here to stay. What can I get away with? And then in 3 months, they're comfortable. And I read that and I preach it for the rescue and everything. And I see it in Fred. I completely see it that after 3 weeks, now he's testing my patience with taking my sneakers and, like how much can I get away with and that kind of thing. And he will go for some training after the first of the year because he needs it. But he's just a giant doodle that's a goofball. So, yeah.
Awesome. So Dog Star, this isn't like you guys are wandering around the streets in Connecticut looking for like lost dogs or anything like that. It's a little different than that, right?
It is.
So let's explain to people where these rescue dogs are actually coming from.
Okay, so we have a combination of partners that we deal with in the South and in Connecticut. We get a lot of dogs from Texas. We've formed a new relationship with the Texas Humane Society this year, actually, and we get a lot of dogs from the Carolinas, North and South Carolina, and then we started a new relationship with Georgia. So we get about 80 to 90 dogs in a month. And then we will also look at taking local Connecticut dogs because Connecticut has a huge overpopulation problem as well. Not as easy to solve as some of the Southern partners because a lot of the Connecticut dogs they're just harder to place. A lot of them are off on the streets and that kind of thing. So we do help with Connecticut when we can. And we do have a lot of programs to help with some of the Connecticut dogs, which I can get into in a few minutes as well. But it's primarily from the South. I would say 85% from the South, 15% from Connecticut. They'll come up every other week. We'll get a transport in. They'll come into our facility in Bloomfield. They'll get vetted by a Connecticut veterinarian. They'll get their health certificates. And pending how they do, they may stay for an event or they may get sent home with a foster. It all depends. Transport is great for some dogs and transport can evolve a dog. Then they need time to decompress. But at any given Saturday, we'll have, 60 to 80 dogs available for adoption at Bloomfield or any of the remote locations we go to, which you can find on our website at dogstarrescue.org.
Yeah, and I've come to learn that, at least back when I first heard this and started working with DogStar through Leslie, a lot of the dogs from the South are coming from high kill shelters.
They are. They're coming from they're coming from high kill shelters that we usually have like a day or two to get them out of the shelter. And we have to make that decision immediately. A lot of them from South Carolina will be heartworm positive, and that people just can't afford it. So rather than spend the money on the treatment or the preventatives, which are not a lot of money a month just to use a preventative, they'll euthanize the dog. And they're property in the South. Up in the North, dogs are family to most of us. In the South, if you don't like your dog, you just open the door and it just goes, and then you just find another one, and the cycle just continues.
Okay, so the problem with the health is just that people aren't spending the money to take care of it.
It's an expense, yes, and there are people just don't want to do that. A lot of the dogs in the Carolinas are trained to be like duck hunting dogs or hunting dogs with whatever it is that you hunt, whatever. And if they don't succeed, again, out the door, they get another one to try it with. So, they're just property, not family members.
Yeah. So at least on one occasion, I went to this big parking lot somewhere and met a tractor trailer, really nice guy that had equipped his tractor trailer truck with some air conditioning and other stuff and some kennels or crates for the dogs. But that's not the way you guys do it anymore, or is it?
That is not the way we do it anymore. We contract with two different transport companies, and they still use the concept of a tractor trailer, but it's a much smaller one. They're only transporting dogs for DogStar. We may allow some other Connecticut rescues to use a crate or two, but primarily it's just for DogStar. So they leave the shelter and they come directly to us. They do the potty breaks. We require the contracts that every 4 hours they stop for potty breaks for the dogs. So it's a very humane transport. In the past few months, we've started to use air flights to get dogs here, which is amazing and so much better for the dogs and so much easier. They're just hard to come by and they're a little bit more expensive. But to get dogs from Texas to Connecticut is a ride. So we've done the flight 4 times now from Texas, and it's amazing to get to the airport and all of a sudden the doors open and the dogs don't come running off. It's not like who let the dogs out. But the crates the crates come down the conveyor belt and the dogs they're just so happy because it's a 5-hour plane ride as opposed to a 24-hour bus ride.
Yeah. So DogStar Rescue has about how many volunteers that are doing all of this work?
So we have about 400 volunteers. I would say we have about 150 to 180 that are really active volunteers, but we're a foster-based rescue, which means that of that 400 volunteers, a lot of them are fosters. So when a dog comes in, allowing us to have that many volunteers, also fosters, lets a dog go immediately into a home environment. So instead of coming off of an awful situation from the South and going into a kennel here in Connecticut, 90% of our dogs will go directly to a foster. So that gives them the experience of a home life. We learn more about the dogs. We can, better know their temperament and get them more decompressed faster, and then, able to share with potential adopters more of the dog's traits.
Yeah. So Leslie and I did that briefly, but Sita really wasn't happy.
Not a fan.
No, she wasn't a fan. We would have like 5 or 6 puppies and a little pen that you guys would, provide, these really kind of portable little fences that you can put together in your living room or whatever. But she went nuts, and we did it a few times and it was fun, but it wasn't good for her. So
yeah, and that's one of the things that we try to stress to people is your resident dogs and your family are your priority. I mean, we love that you foster for us, but we need it to be the right fit. And we do supply everything. As you mentioned, we supply the food, toys, bedding, support, anything. So it's just kind of like you have a house guest for a little while. Some longer than others. I mean, we've got, your harder to place dogs as well, but the average time in rescue before getting adopted is about 14 days. So that's pretty good. I don't want to use the term turnover dogs, but we adopt out dogs in an average of 14 to 20 days.
Yeah, that's great. And sometimes a person that's fostering will fall in love with one of the little pups and
adopt. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We call that, they call that foster failure, which I don't like the connotation that it's a failure. You didn't fail, you just fell in love. So,
Right.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that almost happened with us a couple of times too. They're amazing. You guys have a lot of events.
We do. So we have adoption events every week. Most of the time at our headquarters, but we kind of venture out to, car dealerships, pet stores, although since COVID, pet stores aren't overly busy because people like to buy online. So, but primarily car dealerships. Anywhere as a leader for events, I kind of say, I'll try anything once and then we reassess and we decide if we go back. We do a lot of stuff at breweries. We have some realtors that have turned into some phenomenal partners. And then we do a lot of fundraising events. We do our Pups and Pours event, which is at the Trinity Health Stadium. And that is all breweries and distilleries and different vendors from across the state gather together. And it's a great event because it's $35 and people come and they can drink, and we have food trucks and we have bands. And that we actually just scheduled for June 6th of 2026. We do a golf tournament, which this is, I believe, our 5th year of the golf tournament. And Ferry Law, as you know, is one of the sponsors of it. So we appreciate that. That is at Tunks's Plantation this year. And our goal for this year is to actually sell out both courses. We've only been able to sell out one course, but we've got a lot of cool ideas and we're hoping to sell both courses. And that's just a fun day. It's Friday, July 17th. And that's just a golf tournament for the Sunday afternoon golfer that likes to get out. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have phenomenal raffles. And yeah, it's just a fun day. Well, because you golf it.
I do. And during COVID, I came to you guys and said, hey, I'd like to do a golf tournament with all the proceeds going to Dog Star. And everyone else was canceling their golf events during COVID. And I said, no, this is a great time to do it. People are dying to get out and do something. So we did that. And because it was sort of a brainchild of mine, I did a couple of quirks that people didn't really like much. But one of them was, like, you remember playing one of the holes with a Frisbee?
Yep.
And it was windy and the thing didn't go more than like 20 yards. So people were kind of bummed with that one. But I'm like, listen, I wanted to just make it different and make it fun and like take all the ego out. Like, it's, and this Golf Star tournament isn't about like coming in and you're like Mr. Pro golfer and, you're trying to impress everybody. It's just really a fun outing. It's loose.
Exactly.
And it's really a good time. And the facilities at Tunks's are amazing. Plenty of room to spread out. The food is great. So yeah, I highly recommend anyone that can come to that. It's a great event. When you talked about the car dealerships and the things like that, you were talking about the adoption events, right?
The adoption events, yes, absolutely.
And those happen every single week, pretty much?
Every single Saturday we have an event somewhere. It just happens to be where, yeah.
Okay. And if somebody is interested in adopting a dog, what's the best course for them to take to get ahead of it?
So you should go on and do an application right away onto the website, dogstarrescue.org, and click on the Adopt a Dog link, and it'll bring you right to an application. Get the application filled out. They're good for 6 months. And once the application is approved, you can come to an event. And that doesn't mean that you're approved to adopt any dog. It means that you've met the qualifications to adopt from us, which are minimal. If you have a resident dog or a cat, you give them wellness visits, you give them rabies vaccines. If you don't have any pets in your home, we ask for 3 references just so that, we don't find out that you want this dog and you're going to ride it in the back of a pickup truck. We don't want that. So once you're approved, you can come and you might see Fido over in the corner and you'll say, I'm interested in Fido. We have our adoption coordinators will come over and talk to you and make sure that, Fido is the right fit for you and your family. If it's not, usually the adopter will realize, usually there's a very open dialogue, no preconceived notions by the coordinators. They'll talk to you. And if it's not a good fit and no other dog there is, we refer you to our matchmaking department, which is a bunch of volunteers that have advance notice of some of the dogs that are coming up and might say, wow, this dog is perfect for the family I met last week, and they'll reach out and talk to you. So it's a relationship you're forming with us. You're not just showing up and, running home with the dog. You're forming a relationship. I adopted out one of Fred's shelter mates from South Carolina 3 weeks ago, and I have been in touch with him now once a week. I mean, I won't bother him much longer, but it was kind of a connection. So he's been texting me and things like that. So you do remain bonded. We have an alumni page that, most of our adopters will go on to, because the volunteers feel bonded with the dog and they want to make sure that the dog is doing well, and they like to read. That's kind of the salary that we get, is to see the good pictures coming along.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also know that you are moving. Dog Star's moving into a new facility that's being renovated right now. Right?
We are moving. So we are currently at 12 Toby Road. We rent some space from Thomas Hooker Brewery, who have been phenomenal landlords. But like anything, we've just outgrown the space, and we need space of our own to do some things. So we have purchased a building at 20 Northwood in Bloomfield, and we're running a capital campaign. We expect to move in hopefully by March of next year, because we've got a lot of the work is being done by volunteers. We've got a contractor who's doing a lot as well. But yeah, there's the fences got installed, so now we've got outdoor play yards for the dogs. It's going to have separate meet and greet rooms that almost look like a living room of someone's house, so that when you come in and you want to meet the dog, you're in a home environment right there, right from the beginning. And that's kind of cool. It's got 2 very large gyms. Currently, we only have 1 large play gym, so we could have events going on simultaneously. It's going to have a full vet room with a surgery center as well. So hopefully by the end of next year, not immediately, because we've got a lot on our plate, we can do some surgeries, some, low costs, spay and neuter clinics and things like that. So we're really embracing the Bloomfield community as well, and they're happy to have us. So we are thrilled to be there as a property owner now.
That's really awesome. The only thing that I'm going to miss is having you guys be right next door to Thomas Hooker Brewery.
So we've established relations with the brewery that is about a quarter of a mile from where we're moving to. So we will now adapt ourselves to Back East Brewery.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. So we talked about the golf fundraiser, a couple others, but are there other large fundraisers that people could put on their radar to sort of get to know?
We have, so our next largest fundraiser is our gala, which is coming up on April 18th at the Delamar Hotel in West Hartford. That is recently named Unleashing the Stars. So Dog Star Rescue, if you look up the theme of Dog Star, it is actually a star in the constellation Sirius. I don't know how to spell it, but it's the Sirius star means dog star. So the gala theme is Unleashing the Stars. So we're kind of excited about that. And we have some entertainment planned already. If you were at the gala last year, Phil the Magic Man, a mentalist, performed. He's returning, so we're excited about that. We're honoring some of our largest contributors, so that's something to hear about soon. But yeah, our tickets should go on sale in the next couple of weeks. We don't have tickets on sale yet. We've just ironed out. But the Delamar Hotel in West Hartford is an amazing location. If you've never been there, they are working with us. They're dog friendly. It's an amazing place. So the gala is going to be quite a night.
Yeah, that sounds very sweet. It's been a little while since I've been to the gala, but they're fun. They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Yep.
People that want to actually do the volunteering work, and maybe they can only put in an hour a week, or maybe they could do more. Is there kind of a job for everybody?
There is a job for everybody. So we have a lot of remote opportunities. So you can go right to our website and do a volunteer application. We ask that you commit to 3 hours a month, which is not that much. That's basically coming to one adoption event, or, we have opportunities in marketing that are remote. We have people that write thank you notes for every single donation or item that we receive, whether it be monetary or material, gets a thank you note acknowledgement. And the bigger we get and the wider our audience, the bigger the volume of that. So there's all kinds of remote opportunities. It's again, what you put in is what you're going to get out. We have coordinator level roles. We have medical roles available if you have any medical experience, behavior opportunities. So there's a role for everybody.
Yeah, that's cool. Does DogStar have someone always available who's like a dog behaviorist, I guess, if that's the name?
So we do have our behavior team right now, and we do have people that are available. So if you're one of our fosters, there's a dedicated email that you could email to with questions, and somebody will get back to you depending upon the level of the question. Obviously, if it's my foster dog's tugging on the leash, what do I do? Well, I mean, we're not going to urgently get back to you because dog's tugging on a leash. I mean, what dog doesn't tug on a leash? But if the dog, if you had a foster dog and it had some sort of medical or behavior emergency, we would get back to you almost immediately.
That's cool. Does it ever happen that someone adopts a dog despite your best efforts at DogStar to make a good match, that it doesn't work out?
Yes. So in the adoption contract, DogStar has the right of first refusal to take the dog back. And we will in 99.9% of the cases. And in those cases, it is not always, 90% of the time, the adopter's fault. You can't take a new dog and just throw it into a home environment, in the middle of your Christmas dinner. It's not going to succeed. So some of our dogs will, some of them won't. So we try to give guidance. And if they don't follow it and they need to return the dog, we will say, thank you kindly for your donation, and we'll take the dog back. We won't, if the dog, ran away and bit 5 people, there's a problem with the dog. So we probably won't take the dog back, but I'm not sure the dog is, every case is different, but it has to be kind of looked into.
Yeah. So fortunately for us, Ghost, who was wearing the Spock outfit I showed earlier, he was actually sort of a give back.
Yeah.
And what I found out is that it was a couple that had never had a dog before. During COVID, I think, wanted a dog, and we'll talk about that. But they didn't apparently like the way that Ghost would stare at them. Because he does have a kind of a cool habit of just kind of like zoning out and like looking at you. But you got to get used to it. It's like, it is a little weird at first, but you got to get to know the dog, right?
Yeah.
Like get to know the dog. But anyway, COVID, from what I understand, there was a lot of people that were just interested. Hey, let's get a dog. Everyone was home. They thought it would be great. But then when they weren't home, life got back to normal. Did you guys have a lot of issues with that?
We did. We did. I don't think we had as many as every other rescue, but we did have some returns from COVID. We got a lot of reach outs from other rescues, from other people that had adopted from other rescues as well, because they weren't as open to taking the dogs back. But our screeners were pretty careful about it. And yeah, but we did have a huge amount of adoptions during COVID. And I would say maybe a 10% return rate after that, where right now our return rate's maybe 4%, which is normal among rescues. Yeah. It's adopting a dog is a lifelong commitment, and it's not to take lightly.
So I didn't have a dog growing up. And so the first dog I've ever had in my life was Sita, who was wearing the cool sort of Queen's outfit. And I was away, and Leslie adopted Sita because Sita literally came up to her and chose her. And so I called from China, and she said, hey, we have a dog. And I remember the next words out of my mouth were, as long as it doesn't change my life. Truer words could never be said, because it totally changed my life in such a great way. It's amazing. So little did I know. And you got to experience it. So if people want to give either supplies, like you said, goods, or money, what's the best way for them to do that?
So there's a link on our website. So we have an Amazon wish list. We have a Chewy wish list. Those are all right on our website. We're always looking for simple things, high quality dog training treats. Iams puppy food is what we use for all of the puppies in the rescue. And if they want to give monetarily, there's different links, and you can give to different programs. So the rescue we have a couple different programs that, if I can just share a little bit about, we have one that we just launched about 3 months ago called the Full Bowl program. And that is, so one of the issues that we're facing right now in Connecticut is people can't afford to feed their dogs. With the cost of everything, some people are making the choice between feeding themselves, feeding their children, feeding their dogs. And we are all about, I mean, in addition to adopting dogs, our mission is we want dogs to stay in homes. And even if we didn't adopt to you, we still want you to have your dog and keep it happy. So this program that we launched, we got a very large donation from Purina to kick it off, and then a lot of other donations from the public. But all you have to do is go to our website, and it's a simple form. You don't have to put any personal information. All you have to do is sign up for, we usually have 2 time slots a week, and we will give you enough food for 2 weeks. And then you can come back again every 2 weeks if you need to, and we'll give you, we have different choices if your dog's allergic to chicken, beef, salmon, whatever. And so that's kind of a good community involvement program, and it's allowing dogs to stay in homes. So that's great. Called the Full Bowl program. You can donate specifically to that, meaning any money that you donated there would specifically stay right in that program. It's tracked separately and monitored, and that's really taking off now, and we're thrilled with that. We also do low-cost veterinarian clinics. We did 4 last year, which sold out the minute that they got announced. So we're going to hopefully do 6 or 8 next year, which means you can also sign up and bring your dog in. If you're a veteran, it's free, completely free. It'll give you your annual checkup. It'll give you rabies, distemper, any of your normal wellness vaccines, which, I mean, being a dog owner yourself, that vet visit is, half your mortgage payment. So having it be free or $25 for everyone else is amazing. So we do that from like 8 to 4 on a Saturday, and we have 2 different vets that come in and they'll take care of it. We have vet techs that help us out. So that's another way that we can help the community and help the dogs stay in their forever homes. The other service that DogStar has started, well, the veteran program has been around, but we've expanded it. DogStar for Veterans is a program where if you are a veteran, we'll give you the dog for half off, and we'll give you a $200 stipend to bring the dog for training. So it's not a service dog, but it's a dog. It's a companion dog. We deem it a companion dog. If you were discharged from the military due to some kind of injury, we'll give you the dog complimentary, along with the $200 stipend. We recently, 2 months ago, expanded it to be first responders as well. So policemen, firemen, doctors, anything can get the dog at half off as well.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so they're great programs. It really kind of sets DogStar apart in the community, and it helps us. We have partners that have, that love that story, so they'll donate specifically for that program.
Yeah, that's great. And what does it cost if someone doesn't qualify for any of those special programs? What is the cost to get a dog?
So our average cost is $500, and that's for a dog over 16 weeks old. But the dog comes spayed or neutered. It's got its first round of vaccinations, everything it needs to be registered with your town. It's got its rabies shot. It's up to date on everything. It'll come with its health certificate. It's got a microchip. So all we do is ask you bring the dog to the vet within, 3 to 4 weeks after you get the dog, just to establish yourself with a vet. But $500 is about the average in Connecticut as an adoption from a rescue. It's not the Humane Society, but it's the average cost.
Yeah.
A puppy would be $600, only because they're a lot more for us. We have to go through a lot more precautions and different things like that. And then a senior dog, which is any dog over 7, is $250.
Wow, sweet. You guys are doing it all.
We try.
I learned about a couple programs today that I wasn't aware of, so I'm really excited that you came here and told us about that. Have we covered everything that we should have covered?
Oh, I could talk all day, but I was worried about an hour. I could just talk all day.
Yeah, I know. But the bottom line is, from what I've experienced myself, it is like a family to be involved with this organization.
It is.
Right. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. If you go in my contacts, anybody that I know from the rescue has rescue as their last name, and that is overtaking my friends now, since everything is rescue. But yes.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Wendy, for coming to share all this awesome information about the great stuff that DogStar Rescue is doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.
Brought to you by Ghost the Dog Productions.
Bark from the rooftops, baby.
Oof.